SpaceX launch is a success, MLB proposing a shorter season, and another company bites the dust. All that and more on this episode of Short in the Pick with Richard and Kurt. Hello and welcome to Short in the Pick with Richard and Kurt. What's up? You guys, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button down below. You can stay up to date on all the things that we're doing. Make sure you follow us at S1E14 Podcast on Twitter. And make sure you get ready to get those typey fingers ready because we're going to ask you a couple of questions and you're going to have to comment your answers down below. We got the picks. You got the picks. We'll see who's a little bit better at this. Kurt, how you doing, man?
All right, yeah. I'm doing great. It's been a good week.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week. I didn't do too much this weekend. I actually got to go out and experience the sun a little bit. Not a lot of rain this weekend.
A lot better. Yeah, a lot better weather. And the beaches are open now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did you end up getting out there at all?
Well, not over the weekend, but this past week, I live by the beach kind of, so it's nice to actually be able to walk out there, just randomly whenever I want.
Yeah, so that's been cool. Yeah, that's super convenient. I'm not that close, and I haven't been yet. But I'm obviously going to get going pretty soon. We've got a beautiful summer looking ahead of us, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, hopefully our hurricane predictions,
Oh yeah, that's right. We'll have to track those throughout the year. Well, maybe next episode or maybe a couple episodes from now, we'll see where we stand as far as that projection's concerned, because we did have that one thing over in Central America going on right now. So
yeah, I think that's going to turn into another named storm.
Alrighty. Well, we'll keep an eye on that for sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's kick this bad boy off with the launch of the SpaceX Dragon Demo 2. So
let's go.
Yeah. So SpaceX.
That's the first.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah. SpaceX is a SpaceX got together with NASA and launched the first, I guess, private-public partnership where they sent crew, a manned aircraft up into space to land at the International Space Station. I think this is the first time in 20 years or something like that that
something like that. Yeah, at least 10 for sure.
Yeah, and it's this kind of marks the beginning of a pretty interesting time in technological advancement and colonization and mine resource mining and all kinds of stuff, internet and technology and all that fun stuff related to space travel. So just the news of it being a successful launch is huge because, it has so many implications.
Yeah, did you get a chance to watch it? I think it was on Saturday around 3:30 or something.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it on TV, but I can't see it from here. I don't know if you tried to look outside.
I didn't try. I was kind of curious if you would be able to, because I remember when I was a kid, I grew up more north, closer to it.
Yeah.
Not super close, but we could still see sometimes when they would take off.
Yeah.
Because the glow would be in the sky and everything.
Yeah, I peeked up there and I definitely couldn't see it, but I imagine there was.
I was watching.
Go ahead.
I was watching part of the when they were docking.
Oh.
I didn't get to see all the way through to see them actually come through, but I was watching them set up the cameras and getting ready, hatching it up and pressurization and all that stuff. So
yeah.
It's just exciting.
Yeah, very, very exciting. I'm trying to think.
And you were just talking about how the commercialization of space travel and private space travel companies, SpaceX, and then you have you talked about it a few weeks ago about Virgin Galactic. So there might be some competition. There might actually be some real stake here.
Yeah, I think this was also one of the whole idea with this rocket is that it goes up and it comes back down, it lands, so you can reuse the fuselage.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It landed on a ship out in the middle of the ocean.
That's so cool.
That's so
cool.
And
it lands upright. It lands right where they want it to. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that kind of blew all of our mind. We've seen that before. SpaceX has done some test launches with that, but
this is
a manned flight. It worked without a hitch. And what did you say? Their stock went up 10% today.
Yeah, they had
that was
pretty significant
Galactic,
growth.
But
yeah, they had pretty significant growth for both Virgin Galactic and for Elon Musk Tesla. But hey,
a lot of confidence.
It's just like a really good use of resources, and it has a lot of great implementation, for the future.
What a hopeful thing. Yeah. It's exciting. It's definitely exciting.
Alrighty, we're going to keep on rolling here.
Yeah.
And I think what we'll talk about next is this Facebook whole issue, I guess. And I think it has like a broader story that maybe we can focus in on. I'll kind of set the stage and then get your take from it. But I think that Twitter started doing like a fact checking or something like that. I'm not 100% sure of the whole story. And basically Donald Trump in response did an executive order to say that if you're gonna operate in this manner, that you have to be considered a different kind of company. You're not a platform, which is what a lot of these are called. You're a publisher, like a news agency or something like that. And so a lot of the Facebook employees, senior level employees, were in agreement with that. But Zuckerberg kind of kept quiet, didn't really say anything. And now they're doing a virtual walkout, essentially, walking out of the company. And I don't know for how long necessarily, but just to say, hey, listen, I think that you should be doing something about this and getting on board with all these, with what Twitter's doing, essentially.
Yeah.
Do you have a take on that?
Well, I mean, there's a few different angles there. I mean, just to cover a little bit of what you brought up, even more, a little bit more background about, Twitter did that based off of a tweet that Trump actually tweeted.
Oh, okay.
So Trump tweeted something, and then Twitter tweeted something or replied or retweeted what he said with a fact check on his tweet. So that's why, and obviously he's going to take that personally. So
yeah.
But as far as the whole Facebook situation, I mean, I don't know if I were to if I were to stop working because I didn't agree with the politics or how my company was cooperating with a government agency or government entity, I would fully expect to be fired. I mean, I don't have that right as an employee to just not work because I disagree with what my company's doing politically.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I understand. Go ahead.
So if Facebook, to the extent that Zuckerberg and whoever's in charge is going to let these people do this and suffer the lack of productivity in the meantime, that's only mercy on their part, and like trying to keep an even perspective, or try to keep an even image for the rest of the public and for public image. I mean, if they cared about productivity, I don't think they would have any problem with firing these people for insubordination, just like any other normal employee. But they might be pressured to, let them do what they're doing and not make a big deal about it because they just want their public image to not be tarnished. That's their whole thing.
Yeah.
And when a story like this gets in the news about them, they got to be really careful about how they react. Yeah,
that's kind of how do you look in the public eye, because these tech companies kind of live or die by that. So
right.
It's kind of important for them to hold that kind of standing in the social realm, I guess. But I kind of feel for Mark Zuckerberg, I guess, because what he was essentially trying to do is say, listen, like, I'm not the arbiter of this whole entire thing. Like, while I personally disagree with probably a lot of what he says, or I don't like necessarily what he's saying, it hasn't explicitly broken the rules that we've set forth as a company. So I'm not going to be out there doing anything. And, for him to be like, I want to take a neutral stance, not have to do anything, and then get that kind of reaction from his employees is kind of like stunning, I guess. It's a little weird. Like, they're trying to integrate that politics, like you said, into the company, and he's just trying to stay out of it. He's like, I'm running a business. I want people to be able to enjoy my platform, not have to worry about anything. Yeah, but to the point, to the opposite point, it's like, and this has been a discussion for a long time. This is not the first time this is brought up, but is Facebook a publisher, or is it a public medium or something like that? And I don't think there should be a distinction unless the government is giving them a certain legal treatment based off of that classification, or giving them money. Like, let's say Facebook is providing law enforcement with tips constantly. Well, why shouldn't Facebook get compensated for that? So I could see the FBI actually paying getting a contract with Facebook for so many tips. Okay, you give us
this many tips about crime, then we'll pay you this much. But then, New York Times can't work out a deal with the FBI to do the same thing. I feel like, just saying that, we're good investigators, so we'll give you tips. Well, no, it's our job to investigate. So that's where it becomes kind of problematic, and that's the whole discussion. It's a very legally, I think it's very
nuanced, maybe?
yucky.
Yeah,
it's a nuanced conversation for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, yeah, it's definitely something to look into and just kind of feel get your feet wet in that, because it like you said, nuance is very, very, very weird, very mucky. Alrighty, moving on. So I think that like we I don't like necessarily have a ton to say about this, but I think we should address it. Last week, I believe it was last week, a individual by the name of George Floyd, African American man, was killed while being detained by a police officer. The police officer that was immediately detaining George, and the police officers that were in the proximity were immediately fired. And then this past weekend, we've seen a lot of protests / rioting / some pretty disturbing things, I think. And that's just like kind of setting the scene of what's going on here. Are we missing something? Is there justice here? Is this a little bit overboard? I think are kind of the questions that come out of this.
Yeah, and it's a sad, cover to cover, it's a sad situation because, first of all, you don't want to see anyone die.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see anyone die in police, in a police confrontation. Mm-hmm. And, even fault or no fault. Obviously, there's a video that a lot of people have seen that it's hard to say, well, it's possible it wasn't his fault, because you see the video and it's right in front of your eyes. So, but I don't like to say he was killed. I like to say he died because we know he died.
Yeah.
Now, was he killed is a loaded term.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But, there's autopsies. There was a second autopsy today. So there's this whole data gathering, investigation. And I think a lot of people are just concerned that, hey, if this hadn't been such a big deal, if we hadn't blown this up, there wouldn't have been such a thorough investigation. Mm-hmm. We're pretty confident that if no one said anything, this would have gotten swept under the rug. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a concern that a lot of people have, and that's why you have such a big ruckus. So if we make a big ruckus, then from now on, will you do your due diligence and instead of sweep it under the rug? But who knows? If no one had said a peep, it probably still could have gotten investigated, and the guy could have been charged just like he's already charged. So you can't say what if, but that's the way people are reacting, and it's and there's a lot of damage. Every big city across the U.S. has had curfews. We just got one.
Yep, in
today,
South
right?
Florida, we have I know Miami was getting a lot of protesting going on there. I know that Broward County, where we are, got one as well. I think that what you said too about like watching the words that you're using. It's kind of like an important aspect that I feel like we don't necessarily get a lot of, because what you want to see is justice served. Obviously, you want whoever you want
all the evidence.
Exactly. But that takes time, and I think that this is something that people are afraid are, if you just don't say anything, then that, like you said, nothing's going to happen. But to jump to conclusions so rapidly makes it kind of challenging to make this seem like you're actually doing the right thing and actually taking this seriously and investigating it and trying to find the truth and all that's associated with it. So it's so easy for that dialogue to get inflamed really, really quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And because you have a lot of assumption going in and the thing is, okay, we have a video from a bystander. That's a really good thing because evidence is good. Evidence is always good. Yeah. But the thing is, after you take that video, even if that video is circulated, why not wait to see if the investigation is going to take place? Yeah. And then 10 days later, if nothing's happened, then there's outrage. If the guy is acquitted, if the DA has dropped everything, then maybe, you know, not acquitted, but if the guy is not charged,
Yeah.
and the DA drops everything, then let's get outraged. We have this video though. How could you not charge him?
Yeah.
And then if the DA comes back and says, well, we have this evidence and this evidence, and after looking at everything, we don't have anything, then you take a look at all his evidence. So so everything should be evidence-based and carefully, but to just outcry assuming that nothing would have happened, I think is a little premature.
Yeah.
But I certainly understand that. I mean, who doesn't understand the frustration? I mean, everyone understands what's going on here. So it's just a painful situation, and it's causing even more pain.
Yeah. I mean, just I feel like there's probably some really well-meaning people out there too that are actually trying to do the right thing, and they're just getting
for sure.
overruled by these just people that are just trying to take advantage of the situation. Because
Yeah,
there's really
why
no other.
should-
You're not out there actually saying something. If you're out there vandalizing other people's businesses and homes and their property and stuff like that, and injuring and or killing people, like you're the only message you're sending is that you were looking for an opportunity to get angry or to be a thief or something like that. So
the phrase "no justice, no peace." When wait a minute, the guy did get arrested and
immediately. They were all fired. They got charged. Yeah.
And so that's justice. If he gets convicted and the evidence shows, then that's justice. So there was justice. The only injustice is some guy that put all his life savings into a business and he canceled his insurance because of this virus thing. He was having no business, so he dropped his insurance. Then his business gets burnt down to the ground. So he just lost his life savings. He's an innocent. He had nothing to do with anything. He might as well have been African American himself. And he doesn't have any insurance to cover his business. He just lost his life savings. How is that justice? No, that's not justice. So you can't answer violence with violence. You can't answer evil with evil. You can't answer injustice with injustice. And you certainly can't answer justice with injustice. So that's what's sad about it. And you're right. Why shouldn't people be able to peacefully protest, even if it doesn't make a lot of what I should say sense, as in he was going to get charged anyway, so what's the big deal? Well, people have a story to tell. If they're going to be peaceful, why should they not be allowed to protest every single day of the week about whatever they want to protest on? But then they get overshadowed, like you said, by these people. That's where it causes so much pain. Yeah. For way more people.
I think that there's like a really good, it's kind of a saying-ish, that, you know, when something is going to happen in your life, you have to make a big decision, or you're kind of concerned about something. You take 3 deep breaths, and then you do it. And it's kind of that sense. It's like, let's take 3 days. Yeah, let's just actually see what happens. Because if there, because if injustice was
the video was so potent that it's really hard to watch something like that and then be patient. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Alrighty, I think that
let's move on to sports, though.
I think we covered that. We'll jump into sports here, and I think we have a couple of actually optimistic kind of stories. I don't know.
Yeah, we have some hope.
Yeah, I think that this is something that I'm really excited about.
I was starting to think that I would just have to rule sports out of my life for
for
all perpetuity.
So I heard that EPL, English Premier League, was given, which we were doing a lot of our picks based on in earlier episodes before this whole viral outbreak. I'm hearing that they are getting the go ahead from the government of England, or the government of the UK, I should say. Yeah. To get going in June 17th. So
mid-June,
So I mean, is that something that's confirmed by the? I don't necessarily.
Okay, I'm reading clubs agreed during a conference call on Thursday to restart on June 17th. But West Ham Vice Chair Kevin Brady said the latest virtual meeting of the club executives featured a long discussion about what constitutes having a team fit enough to compete in the games left to play. So we know June 17th is a date. You know, we don't know for sure if games are going to start, on June 17th. But it's at least we've got something. We got some
optimism.
Discussion.
It's optimism, man. That's all we're looking for right now.
Exactly. So hopefully in the next month or two we've got some EPL. But we're running up on the next season already.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. Also, I mean, kind of on the same note there, MLS is looking to do. I think we mentioned this in a previous podcast. Is looking to do an Orlando-based tournament style some games amongst I think 26 different different MLS teams that have agreed to do it. But right now they're kind of in a dispute amongst the owners and the owners and the players themselves as to how much they're going to get paid and stuff. Yeah, sorry, I got a hiccup there. But how much they're going to get paid and what that's going to look like. And so I think they're looking at a late June, maybe July competition there, but this could potentially be a holdup. And you never really want to hear that because, I mean, at this point, Americans are just looking for something to watch, you know? So
yeah, late July. I mean, at that point, college football's starting in less than a month.
Yeah.
You know, NFL's starting up in less than a couple weeks.
Yeah. You're kind of playing with you're trying to have to compete at that point for viewership. And, you know, I mean, people are going to Americans are going to watch football. That's just the reality we live in. So
remember we picked about the NFL going off without a hitch.
Yeah.
As far as all their games scheduled as played as scheduled, regardless of fans or not.
I think that's a still a reality. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't necessarily at least at this point.
Yeah.
And then
but we also have baseball, right?
Yes,
MLB.
we have one last thing. Yeah, baseball, and they're looking at this is our big story, I guess, for the thing. They're looking at a 114 game season. They're looking at a shortened season. To potentially cover
114.
Yeah, to cover what, you know, try and get as much out of this season as they possibly can since they had to cut out so many of their games. I think that that's
70% of what they would normally do, which kind of seems like a lot given that they've already missed
4 months,
2 months.
Yeah,
which is and the typical season 6 months. So they've already missed a third.
Yeah,
they've already missed a third of the season time wise. So anyway,
and then they're not realistically getting started this month either. I was looking at those dates are like end of June. MLB was talking end of June, so like 28th or something like that. I don't have the date right in front of me, but
yeah, why not just cut it in half? Like cut the number of games in half.
Yeah, half a season. I mean, that's still what, and 90 something games? No, 80 something games.
It's just so difficult to put together. And then you got to put together a totally different travel schedule. Man, it gets complicated.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're working on this right now. I have heard also that they had a similar problem as MLS with whether or not they're going to pay their players the full amount or whatever.
Right.
I know that on a team that we like to watch, Sneed was kind of not happy about that whole entire thing. Sneed? I don't know if you know.
You mean Snell?
Sorry, my bad. Snell, excuse me. Yeah, my head's somewhere else. Yes, Snell. I'm thinking Willie Snead for some reason. Who is that? Is that on? That's NFL, I think. Anyway, yeah, Blake Snell. And
yeah, he was.
I don't know if you have more on that.
Pretty well respected player. Oh well, no, I don't know. Here's my big thing. Like, why was this not baked into their contracts? And I hope I would guarantee, but I hope for sure that they bake this in moving forward. I mean, this has happened before. It's not like leagues haven't had shortened seasons before.
Yeah.
Due to strike and other things. Why don't you bake into every single player contract? If we have a shortened season, whatever the league decides, you're going to play it, and you're going to play it for X price per game, per hour, per whatever. Just get a lawyer to draft something that you can copy and paste into every single player contract moving forward, because this is ridiculous that would cause a hang-up. Just pay them the prorated rate.
Yeah.
I mean, you sat home and, you didn't stay fit, or you did stay fit. It's still going to affect your performance, which is going to lead to future contracts. So I don't understand what the big hang-up. I mean,
part of
why was that not already simple contract language?
Yeah, part of it's that they were expecting to get X number of games out of you, and they didn't. And I understand that. Right. I understand that it's frustrating that you live at a much higher standard of living, obviously now. So you have bills to pay too, obviously. But like you said, how is this not already baked into the contract? It's like if the season isn't played at all, you get X dollars. If we can play partial season, then you get X dollars per game. It's going to be reduced from what your total income is. If we can play at least 75% of the games, then we'll give you the full pay. Something as simple as that. You know what I mean? Like there's an easy.
And players are not, they're not living up to their means, because a lot of their contracts, unless they're a super veteran player, a lot of their contracts are they don't have a lot of guaranteed money. A lot of it is bonus based anyway, based on performance.
Yep.
I mean, that's the way MLB contracts, all sports contracts are going. So they're not living up to their means. So obviously they've got to fudge the numbers. They've got to have a little cash saved up, in case they don't make enough money. But that's the same with all of us. They can't just, you can't just ask for extra protection. So yeah, it's a little silly. But
alrighty.
Do you want to go to Dick's Picks and Captain's Log?
I think we're ready for Dick's Picks and Captain's Log. So
we got to review what happened last week.
Yeah, so last week we did a Bundesliga game because that's pretty much the only sport that's going on right now that we can actually have some modicum of intelligence about, I guess. And I believe we picked the Borussia Dortmund Bayern Munich game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, top of the table. Big
so that was the top of the table. That was Borussia Dortmund's opportunity to get within 1 point, and that was also Bayern Munich's opportunity to try and take a commanding lead, go up by like 6+ points.
So we had conflicting picks as well, if I remember.
And you do remember correctly. I believe what it was I picked Borussia Dortmund. I know this is what it was. I picked Borussia Dortmund to win by 1, and you picked Bayern Munich to win by 1. And the actual result, drum roll please, was Bayern Munich wins by 1. You nailed it on the head.
Go.
That was a week for you because
go.
We only had one pick that like as far as sports were concerned for that week.
But you killed me. You killed me on the week before that on pretty much everything. So on stocks and sports.
But dude, you nailed it on the head.
That was my week to come back. And I told you it was going to be my week. I was going to have a comeback.
Dude, you nailed it. That was awesome.
Well, it was a 1-goal difference, so it wasn't. It's not like I picked a 5-goal difference and it was a 5-goal difference.
Yeah, like a 10-goal difference. See you later, suckers.
No, that'd be 1 out of a million chance.
You're just like, okay, I'm going all out, guys. I'm laying it on the field there.
All right. Well, what's the game? Okay, so we got Bayer Leverkusen this week versus Bayern Munich.
Yes. So we're gonna keep it in Bundesliga because we know they got games, and the top of the table is still pretty tight.
Leverkusen, remember, they beat Mönchengladbach to pull up into like top 4. Then they didn't do well last week, but they're tied basically in points for 4th.
Yeah,
so,
but they could. I mean, the table up there is pretty tight right now.
They're two points away from 3rd, which I think is Champions League
second
spot.
Potentially from. They could steal second from Borussia Dortmund if
points
they have
from
enough
second.
games. Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, this isn't a non-critical game because Bayern Munich isn't like. They're not I don't think they're technically far enough in the lead to have to win outright if they just lose the rest of their games. So I mean, they still have to be they still have to do something out there,
Yeah.
And Bayer
Leverkusen's got it. Yeah, they're trying to get to Champions League.
They're trying to get in the Champions League. Yeah, so there's something on the line for both teams. I mean, this isn't a nothing game, and it's going to be a good game at Bayer Leverkusen. So
yes,
they're going to have home field advantage.
And you commented early in the season, Bayer Leverkusen went to Bayern Munich and beat them at Bayern Munich.
So yeah, they obviously can do it away. I mean, they can do it. They could beat Bayern Munich, but are they going to beat Bayern Munich sitting at the top of the table? That's for us to pick this week. So I think we're going to kick this week off with Captain's Log.
You got your paper?
Yep. Are we going to show them at the same time, or are we going to do it?
All right. Hold your paper up just so we know you're not changing it as I'm saying.
Okay, I've got the paper here.
All right. So are we going to do Captain's Log first?
All right. Do you want to do a reveal both at the same time or Captain's Log first?
No, we'll do them one at a time.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see Captain's Log.
All right. I've got Bayern Munich winning by 1.
Yeah? Okay. Bayern Munich by 1. That's a pretty substantial pick.
Same as last week.
What's the feel there? Like, I mean, you don't think that top of the table team like that can't put the punish in, or do you think that you don't think home field advantage is going to come in and maybe Bayer Leverkusen could come in and steal the win? I mean, what's the thought process here?
I think the home field advantage is going to keep Bayern Munich from beating up on them. But yes, I think I just did the math. Honestly, I could see a draw as well, but I didn't pick a draw. I really should have picked a draw, but that's okay.
Safe.
I picked a
Yeah, I mean, they can obviously do it. They're at the top of the table for a reason, but this might be their weakness.
I'm not going to reveal all their all the reasons, all my methodology, but
yeah. You don't have to yet. But this week I am picking Bayern Munich by 2. Ooh. So you said you weren't willing to go and take that
I have
take
a good
that
feeling
risk.
about this.
I don't know. They're pretty hot. They just beat.
They're hot, but they can take a break now.
Yeah.
They're more than two games ahead of Dortmund. They're like, all right, let's chill.
Take it easy. Take the foot off the pedal. It's not like we're gonna fall apart in one game.
I feel good about this one.
Yeah.
I feel good about this one.
I think it's just gonna be a typical Bayern Munich gonna come out here and just score a couple of goals.
Could.
And we'll
Yeah,
see.
they could slaughter.
I mean, they can do that. You know.
Yeah, for sure. They can.
So
always do that
is Captain's log and Dick's pick for this week. You guys
move on
comment
to,
down below.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure that you guys are picking yours too out in the audience out there, because otherwise you'll never know if you're gonna beat us. And maybe
this
in
is
the
a good
future.
one. Actually, you have an advantage because you know what we didn't pick. So.
That's right.
All right. So, or you know what we? Sorry, I don't know what you know what we did pick. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're moving on to stock talk.
Stock talk. All right. So I think to start off stock talk, it's just that quick. In the intro, another one bites the dust, and it's Pier 1 announces an official closing date. So I believe that they had announced bankruptcy, Chapter 11 bankruptcy, like a while ago.
February.
Yeah. Obviously, this doesn't all happen within like a couple of days. Like you file for bankruptcy and then you sell off all your stock. Like that doesn't.
Well, a lot of times when you file Chapter 11, that doesn't mean you totally go out of business forever.
Yeah, you're like not giving up. You're basically saying like I can't pay my debts.
A lot of times, that you're forced to sell a lot of your assets, but you can still maintain business moving forward in a limited capacity, and then eventually, if you're able, you can grow your business back up. And that's, lots of companies have filed bankruptcy that are still existing today.
Yeah, they do it all the time. It's tactical. I mean, it's.
But this one, I guess they're saying we're closing all our stores.
Yeah. So in February, folding. Like you said, they had announced. They had filed for bankruptcy, and this was only just after they had already announced that they were closing 450 of their stores. So they were already in looking to downsize. They're doing what a lot of these big box stores are doing, like Sears and stuff like that are trying to compete with these online retailers.
So it's just another bankruptcy force. The bankruptcy was happening anyway. Like you said, it was already filed, but the acceleration of the closure may have taken place because of the virus and the closing. They were going to be closed anyway. So,
alrighty. So let's get into the the indices for today, and then we'll review last week's picks, and then we'll get into our picks for this week and wrap it up.
All right, let me just rattle these off. So S&P, basically we had a positive week yet again, climbing back up.
Yeah.
S&P up 1.7%, Russell 2000 up 3.3%, and then the Nasdaq up just a slight 0.6%, Dow Jones up 2.8%. So mixed, but
Dow Jones.
Yeah, but very, very much up in general. Pretty good week. So we didn't have a lot of excuses. I mean, our stock picks had to beat this 2% mark.
Literally, all we had to do was say pick any like Fortune 500 company, and you were gonna essentially be in the black.
Well, the goal every week is to beat the market. So our stock pick is supposed to beat whatever, the S&P 500, 1.7. Okay, well, we need to have a 3% or a 2% yield in order to beat the rest of the market, right?
Yeah, but at the very least, you want to see at least you
positive.
Can compete with. Yeah.
At least gain money, boys.
I think that's kind of like a dead giveaway as to what happened this last week. So I had Aurora Cannabis Incorporated from last week, and they are down a whopping 10+% from
12.2 on my count.
You have 12. I'm reading 10.3, but so I'll just say 10 plus because it's minimum 10+%. At the very least.
That's right. We
it lost.
Did we drop on a day late or something? Oh no, wait. We had the.
It's not a big deal, but it's more than 10%. So not only did I miss the 2% gain that the Dow Jones, the 0.5% gain that Nasdaq, all these indices that are
you lost
gaining 1+% on the week, which is pretty decent for a week growth. 1%, that's not bad.
You lost $100 for every
10.
You lost $100 for every $1,000 someone decided to pitch in at your suggestion.
So not the greatest week. Hey, I've had better weeks. So,
this is a good time to make a disclaimer that do not We are not professionals.
Yeah, we're not professionals at this. We're not responsible or liable for any of the picks that you make. We're just here to share. We're just here to share our thoughts and ideas
with assessing the appropriate risk. Okay.
Yes.
So my pick was Datadog, DDOG. Yeah, Kurt's big pick. Mine dropped as well, pretty bad. 7% about is what I was getting.
Hey.
So
you beat me.
I guess I technically beat you, but
you're the big winner this week.
Yeah, that's like saying I don't know what that's like saying. That's like saying you drowned, but I don't know. But I only almost drowned.
It's like the tsunami wave came in, and I got killed on impact, and then you just drowned.
Right, I drowned. I got carried down the river, and exactly. Okay, so what do we got this week?
All right, so
for hot take or Richard's hot take.
So hot take for this week for Richard is symbol NCLH, which is Norwegian Cruise Lines. I think it's time to get back in the cruise line game.
So, okay.
I'm going to pull up the numbers right now on my cellular device. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Here we go.
So they were up. They were up a lot today. So my only concern with you picking them is you're working off of a higher base than normal.
Yeah. So this is going to be an issue, I think, with whatever you pick, because today was a pretty decent day for a lot of for the market. But like I said this last week that there's a lot of this. What you're trying to do is play the volatility, and it's still that that's what you're basically trying to do. But at this point, I mean, how much lower could it possibly get? How much could you possibly lose? It's looking like it's at bottom. You look at their long-term value.
Yeah.
Like if you look at their 5-year or even more potentially, I mean they're trading at a much higher rate. Right now they're trading at $17 a share. They were trading at some points over nearly $60 a share.
And they have
how much lower do they get?
Right. They have I mean, I guess if they go out of business due to all this loss of income, then you're screwed. But that's the only way you're going to lose money on this in the next.
That's the big threat.
In the next year. But I mean, Norwegian has a better public image, I feel like, than the other big ones. So it's like they're going to come back. When people start coming back, they're going to go to Norwegian Cruise Lines.
I mean, all it's going to take is if you can come up with a vaccine, or people are going to just change their state of mind or something like that. Right. I mean, time's going to go on, and people are going to realize I can't live my life inside a box forever.
Right.
So people are going to be willing to take that risk.
So, one thing is,
that's going to be my pick.
If cruise lines are shut down for 2 years longer than your average business, restaurant, retail, then 2 years of no income because people are just don't want to get on a ship where people spread a sickness for sure while there's no vaccine. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's also this theory that all these people that have been working from home and making the same amount of money that they usually do, if they, when things open,
savings is an all-time high.
Yeah, when things open up, they're going to have a lot of cash on hand. They haven't been able to spend this money, and so they're going to be ready to take some vacations. But anyway, we can move on to Kurt's big pick.
Big pick. Let's hear it.
It's going to be ENPH.
ENPH.
That's it.
I'm gonna need a little bit of information.
Okay,
here.
this is an energy Enphase Energy. It's basically a solar company. Solar.
Oh, cool.
They make some micro converter for solar panels or something like that. Now I don't know why they're doing so well. They had a little bit of a pullback over the last week, so it might be a good time. But they've had explosive growth. I just think this one. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the trend. In the next 2 weeks, in the next week, you shouldn't be able to be positive. Hopefully.
Excellent.
I said the same thing last week.
I think energy is a great sector. Especially new energy. I guess like oil maybe was a good time to invest when it was really really low. I don't know about it now. I haven't looked at at that market in a while.
But this is a company that's kind of, I guess, newer maybe, but their P to E ratio is only 35, so I kind of expect I expect that to go up a lot more before they cap out on their share price. So it's not a super cheap. If you looked at this 2 years ago, they would have been $1 a share, but now they're $60 a share. So that's the kind of growth that they've had. And
Wow.
so it's not super affordable now, but I still think it's going up quite a lot before it starts to level out.
Yeah, you can nab a couple of things.
Yeah, that's Kurt's big pick.
And Richard's hot
take.
take. So make your picks down below too. See if you can play the volatility a little bit. Maybe you're playing the long game.
Best,
Maybe you're looking for something that you can hang on to for a little bit.
Yeah, best
Why don't
pick
you let
is
us know what you're looking at?
Gets a cookie.
If you guys have thoughts on what kinds of stocks we want to look at, like are we looking at long term? Are we looking at playing volatility now? We can try and come up with a pick. We're not going to say that we're experts in any means, and we definitely we would never recommend that you take our pick offhandedly. But we would love to do stuff based on what your thoughts are. If you wanted to see more content of a specific kind,
always comment down below if you've got some sort of something you want to see, some feedback.
Make those comments. Let's hear from you guys.
All right. Well, this has been another great week, Richard. Of picks. So with that, that's going to wrap up this episode. So make sure you all hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and comment all your picks down below. With that, everyone, this has been another episode of Short End of the Pick with Richard and Kurt. We'll catch you all next week. Until then.